So our next topic of the day is going to be about Fable and the future of Fable, because we haven't seen a Fable sequel or continuation after Fable 3 for quite some time, and there's more and more information coming out, that being an announcement that Fable 4 is in development. And here's kind of everything that we know so far about the game, because this is a title that a lot of people are talking about, that are very excited, and they're hoping for an official announcement this year. So Fable 4 is coming, and here's everything that we know so far. This is an article that was written by Tech Radar by Emma Boyle. Despite Fable being one of Microsoft's most beloved exclusive IPs, we haven't seen a mainline installment since Fable 3 was released way back in 2010. That's nearly a whole decade without a follow-up. It is a decade. Because if it got announced this year, it's probably not coming out until at least next year, maybe even 2022. Of course, it hasn't been all quiet on the Fable front. There was an unsuccessful attempt to pivot to an online games as service model with Fable Legends, but that was followed by the eventual closure of original developer Lionhead Studios, which meant many thought we'd never experience another traditional single-player Fable adventure. However, when Xbox boss Phil Spencer said in early 2017 that the series wasn't dead and still had places to go, hopes were understandably raised. More recently, reports have emerged that Playground Games, the developer behind the Forza Horizon series, is working on the fourth Fable game. Now, it looks like we have a bit more to go on than rumors after an alleged Fable 4 leak found its way into the wild and the details were published on Reddit. We've put together everything you need to know regarding the news and rumors about Fable 4. So, if we cut to the chase, what is it? The fourth game in the Xbox exclusive open world RPG series. What can I play it on? Xbox and PC most likely. And when can I play it? Nothing confirmed yet, but even if it is, it'll still be some time. And then the release date, given that Fable 4 hasn't actually been confirmed yet, and we sadly don't have the prophetic powers of the games is soothsaying Teresa, it'd be hard to pin down any kind of release date for Fable 4. However, back in 2018, Eurogamer posted that development on the game was in its very early stages, with rumored developer Playground Games still hiring to boost team numbers up to around 200. Of course, that news feels a little old now, but it's all we have to go on at the moment. So taking it with a grain of salt, we may not see the next Fable game until 2021, 2020 if we're being optimistic. So there's been a lot of news. There's been a lot of rumors. One thing from Reddit on June 3rd, 2019, Reddit user LagSwag1 published details of an alleged Fable 4 leak. The details come from a video that's since been removed and which we haven't seen ourselves, which details a few key features of the fourth installment, including both first and third person perspectives and an in-depth character creator, no guns, the option to ignore the main quest, the option for players to build towns, multiplayer, and running on Unreal Engine. Wow, that's a lot to take in. If that wasn't enough to throw your head in a spin, two more details have emerged from the leak. The first is that the land of Albion, where the game is set, could be no more, with different worlds and planets to explore, and to access these planets, there could be a time travel element via a demon door. This is clearly a huge departure from the original Fable games, but it sounds ambitious and exciting too. We also expected nothing less given past iterations of the game made huge leaps time-wise between each installment, jumping possibly centuries in the future to a time when time travel tech is around makes a lot of sense. However, that's porting over old ideas of how the game progresses onto the new idea. Maybe this will take us back to the past of the first game, but with time travel elements added in. The leak suggested the reason for the new planets is that someone got control of the magic spire and used it to destroy the planet, which means we might not be in the future at all. These are all just guesses, of course, but it's fun to speculate. And That's the thing. These are all guesses, guys. We really have absolutely no idea where this is going, right? I mean, there's so many different ways in which the Fable series could go, and we could talk till we're blue in the face about it being one way or another, but until we get further information, it sounds pretty much like a Fable 4 has been confirmed by Phil Spencer, but at the same time, we have no timetable as to when it's going to be coming out, right? I mean, sure, you would think probably in the next year or two, we're at least going to hear about it because this was a very beloved franchise and there's no debate about it amongst many people in, a lot of Xbox users and people just loved playing this game, myself included. But we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. As far as everything that we do know is that it's most likely coming, and that's the biggest thing, is that we're at least going to most likely see a new Fable here in the, foreseeable future. The game that Playground will reportedly be working on sounds rather similar to the vision Lionhead had for Fable 4 before its pitch was rejected and the studio was shut down. Prior to its closure, Lionhead had been working on Fable Legends, a free-to-play service game with a heavy emphasis on online multiplayer. This was quite a departure from Lionhead's previous Fable titles, and the studio hoped that it would be able to return to creating single-player story-driven adventures when development of Legends was complete. This didn't happen. Fable co-creator Simon Carter told Eurogamer that the news left him with mixed feelings, though he said it was great news for the UK games industry and he'd be pleased to return to Fable as a punter. He added that it's curious that Microsoft would get rid of a development team that knows the franchise inside and out. And I gotta say, I do kind of agree with that as well. Why would they get rid of all those people? But our very first sign that the Fable franchise would one day return came from Xbox's own Phil Spencer. In early 2017, Spencer tweeted that though Microsoft had nothing to announce at the time, there were plenty of places the IP could go. It wasn't much to go on, but it added weight to reports that emerged in the aftermath of Lionhead's closure that Microsoft had turned down offers to buy the studio as it wanted to keep hold of the Fable license. So, the things that we want to see, many of these things, guys, we've already kind of discussed. Obviously, we want to have an exciting story. The soundtrack, sure, that would be great to have a great soundtrack. We do want to see a multiplayer. There is no debate about that. The sense of humor, without a doubt, we'd love to see a really good sense of humor. And I think that sometimes people want to have choices as well as consequences for those choices. I like that idea. At the same time, I could skip out on the choices and consequences. I think that the choices that you make in the game, it all should just come to an end sort of thing, like where there's one way the game ends, and so you understand, okay, this is obviously a setup for the next game or whatever the case might be. I think when you have multiple endings, then there's just going to be so much speculation around this. And since this is a game that hasn't been out for 10 years, I would say, make it more of a finalized finale. Make it more like, okay, our choices are leading us to this moment, and that moment is going to be the same. But, having that freedom sometimes is fun. Knowing, though, that it's set in stone, what happens at the end, everyone else is seeing, and is it going to continue? Is it done at this point? It'll be very interesting. I hope you guys did, kind of enjoy this, even though we don't have a lot of information yet. We just know that it's most likely coming because Phil Spencer said so. And obviously, I'm very excited about it. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. What do you guys want to see the most in a Fable 4, a return to the Fable franchise? What do you guys want to see that we didn't talk about here? Let me know in the comment section below.